Good afternoon, everyone. So, we are basically in our first session, we have seen we have gone through the basics of the tricuspid valve pathology. So, Dr. Mehta had taken us through the anatomy of the tricuspid valve. Basically, it involves three leaflets, and what we have to understand is that the tricuspid annulus is a saddle-shaped structure. It is not a circular two-dimensional structure, but a saddle-shaped three-dimensional structure. And based on what Mamta has told us about the pathophysiology, the dilatation of the tricuspid valve annulus takes place in the anterolateral aspect. The septal leaflet is a relatively fixed structure and that does not dilate. It is mainly the anterior and the posterior leaflets that are involved in the pathology and resulting in annular dilatation. So basically, and Dr. Sunil has then taken us through the guidelines of what the major cardiothoracic bodies have been indicating right now. So now we know what are the indications for tricuspid valve repair, and Dr. Rahul will be taking us through the various surgical techniques that are available to repair a tricuspid valve. Rahul, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see. I think you're putting. Yeah, I can see the screen now.
All right. Okay. You can go ahead then.
Yeah. All right. So we have gone through the anatomy and assessment of the tricuspid valve. Please remember, we are talking about tricuspid valve repair in this discussion in relation to the functional tricuspid regurgitation. And as it is the most common problem we address during surgery, that more or less covers most of the surgical aspects of tricuspid valve repair. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, I just wanted to put up a picture of the man who is considered as the father of modern heart valve surgery, Professor Alain Carpentier. And yeah, he actually pioneered mitral valve surgical repair, but he's also contributed a lot of surgical aspects in tricuspid as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, this has already been discussed by Sunil. I just wanted to go through it because there are only two class 1 indications for repair. You see the guideline. Mainly, it is functional tricuspid regurgitation addressed during time left-sided heart valve surgery. Now, that is mainly when you address mitral valve surgery, we need to address tricuspid valve, especially when it is tricuspid valve with the annulus dilated. Next slide. I put up the slide because the most common question that comes to anybody's mind is that there are quite clear that when the tricuspid valve is severely regurgitant, there is no doubt that we have to repair it. But the question comes most of the time during surgery, what do we do when the tricuspid regurgitation is mild to moderate? That is why it's important that we address it and consider the annulus also when we consider repair of the valve. So as already it's been discussed by the previous speakers, more than 40 mm diameter of the annulus is considered as an indication to repair the tricuspid valve. So the inference of it is that the severity of the TR is not the only indication, but we also have to look at the annulus size and the morphology of the valve leaflets. Next slide, please. So, a few principles you have to consider when you address the tricuspid valve. The first one is when you snug the vena cava during surgery and open the RA, the first thing what you have to do is actually look at the tricuspid valve anatomy, assess the tricuspid valve regarding the annulus, the valve leaflets, and the subvalve apparatus. That is very important because most of the time simple annular reduction helps in reducing the regurgitation. because we live in a country where there is a lot of rheumatic heart disease, you tend to get what is called as organic regurgitation, wherein the tricuspid valve leaflets itself may be diseased. You may need some other form of surgery, in the sense augmenting the leaflet, and these are the other things which is not part of our discussion. The second part of the principle is you have to ensure that the leaflets coapt and the leaflets are mobile. The third part is you need to stabilize the tricuspid valve annulus. So that is why recent data suggests, and most surgeons now prefer to put a ring rather than do a suture annuloplasty. The fourth most important thing which we should consider while operating on the tricuspid valve is to avoid injury to the conduction bundle. Next slide, please. Right. So this is the surgeon's view of the tricuspid valve. You can make out the anterior leaflet, the posterior leaflet, the commissures, and the most important part being the is the coronary sinus, the neuromuscular bundle. Next slide, please. Right. Here more clearly shows the area where is the. So that is, this image actually tells us why we tend to avoid putting a complete ring and prefer the incomplete T-shaped ring, so that we do not have to take any sutures through the danger. Right. So this is just showing, in comparison to your previous image, how the annulus dilates. So you can see the more or less the septal leaflet or the septal side of the annulus is pretty stable, and it is actually the anterior and the posterior septal leaflets which actually dilate. Next slide. Yeah. So there is something called as the critical diameter of the annulus, beyond which the tricuspid valve tends to regurgitate. So if you see the first image on the top, the A image, the valve has no regurgitation because early
नाही मिळाले, माल नाहीये, जे आहे ते दिलेलं आहे. तुझे राहिले ते मला उद्या दे, उद्या परत आणतो मी.
Yes, Marathi. I don't know who is speaking. I think you can mute that. Yeah. So the valve which. All right. So what I was talking about is the critical diameter of the annulus. So generally, in a normal valve, the early systolic and the early systolic and the late end systolic diameters are below the critical diameter of 27 millimeters per meter square body surface area. So as the annulus dilates, the annular size comes in between the two. You can see that in the B image. And when there is severe regurgitation, the annular size is beyond this. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we come to the repair techniques now. I'm just sticking to only 3 techniques which are most commonly used, especially where I have been training. One is the case annuloplasty. Second one is the DeVegas and the modifications of DeVega, and the tricuspid ring. Next slide, please. So this is the simplest of the annular plication techniques for tricuspid valve. So basically what we do here is the posterior annulus is plicated, effectively reducing the size of the annulus into a anterior leaflet and the septal leaflet. So you can see a pledgeted stitch being taken through and through to reduce the size of the annulus. Next slide, please. Like any procedure, you have merits and demerits. So the principle is, when you plicate the leaflet, it causes atrophy, and then the annulus becomes smaller in size. The advantage is it's a fast procedure, especially when you are worried about cardiopulmonary bypass time and the cross clamp time. It's easy to perform and it's also inexpensive because it needs only a suture and a pledget. The only limitation here is that it is difficult to produce predictable results, especially when it's a young surgeon or doesn't have much of experience, and we are not actually addressing the dilatation of the anterior portion of the annulus, which is equally important. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is Dr. Norberto Gonzalez de Vega, who actually explained how we do the annuloplasty for the tricuspid valve. Next slide. Yeah, can you hear me?
And now we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So this image shows where we start the stitches, annular stitches. So we start from the anteroseptal commissure, avoiding the conduction bundle, and it is a pledgeted suture, the double arm. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, so basically what we have done is we have gone through the anterior leaflet along the annulus to the posterior leaflet and come out at the other end. And then we are taking a second row of sutures in the same way, just shy of the previous suture. Next slide, please. Right. So here what we do is once both the suture ends come out at the posteroseptal commissure, we tie the suture over a pledget. Next slide, please. So how do you size it? Generally, you use a 30 mm star Edgeworth sizer for sizing, and keeping the sizer, we tie off the suture so that the annular size reduces effectively along the anterior and the septal leaflet. Next slide, please. Right. So this is the end result of a de Vega's method of tricuspid annuloplasty. Next slide, please. So what is the problem in de Vega's annuloplasty? Basically, what we have is because we are using a suture, it can cut through and cause what is called as a bowstring effect or a guitar chord effect. So what did the other surgeons do? Next slide, please. So basically what we did was we used multiple sutures. Some people use to the number about 5 sutures so that the annulus is plicated at small points and there is no cutting through of the sutures. Next slide, please. Yeah. So here what we are doing is we are using a ring or a band, what we call is the incomplete ring. That is the most effective way of repairing tricuspid functional regurgitation. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we can use a complete ring or an incomplete ring. Like I said, it is better to use an incomplete ring to prevent the injury to the conduction bundle. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So the difference between a ring placement and suture annuloplasty is where here we use interrupted and non-pledgeted sutures along the anterior and the posterior annulus. Next slide, please. So the suture is taken through the tricuspid ring. The ring is lowered and the sutures are tied off. So this effectively reduces the size of the annulus along the anterior and the next slide, anterior and the posterior annulus. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Rahul. That was a very good presentation on the surgical options that are available for tricuspid valve repair. So we have seen at what are the surgical options that are available. But along with this one, we should also be aware that the cardiologists are also making quite a bit of a progress on the in developing methods to percutaneously tackle the problem of tricuspid valve regurgitation. So to tackle these things, they have come up with quite a few devices to deploy near the tricuspid valve. So we'll just go through that one and see. Most of these devices are still in the research stage, and it's still very early to actually see it in regular practice. So these percutaneous devices, they are divided into 3 types. So you have annuloplasty devices that acts on the annulus. They reduce the annulus size. We have 3 devices that are there in the market. And then we have coaptation devices that they reduce the coaptation distance and reduce the regurgitation orifice area. We have 3 devices in that sphere. Or if both these techniques fail, then you can also deploy a bioprosthetic valve into the tricuspid valve, just like how we deploy for aortic stenosis. You can deploy bioprosthetic valve into the tricuspid position to reduce the TI. So let us just go through each of them one by one. So basically, this is the first one is a tri-align system that has been developed by Mitra Align Industries. It is a transjugular suture-based tricuspid valve annuloplasty system. So basically, you develop, the aim of this procedure is to reduce the annular size by tissue plication. So it replicates the surgical K procedure. So you pass a guide wire through the tricuspid valve, deploy sutures on the ventricular side of the posterior and the anterior leaflet, and that is as you can see in the illustration. And then the pledgets are also placed on the atrial side, and these 2 pledgets are then approximated to reduce the annular dimensions. So just like how we do a surgical K procedure, the same technology is used in the tri-align system. And yeah, there you can see the approximation between the 2 pledges that are there on the atrial side. So this basically, it negates the posterior leaflet, and only the septal and the anterior leaflet are the ones that are working in it. So the SCOUT trial is a trial that is evaluating the benefits of the tri-align device, and the complications, the success rate has been pretty much good. But the complication associated with this one is that the pledgets can get detached from the tricuspid valve, and also it can occlude the right coronary artery and leading to STEMI. So those are the few complications that the STEMI, that the SCOUT trial has discovered with the tri-align device. Coming to the next device, that is the TriCinch device. So the TriCinch device, it aims to reduce the septolateral tricuspid annular device. It is made by the Fortec cardio company based basically in Ireland. It aims to reduce the septolateral tricuspid annular diameter. It involves placing a nitinol coil in the anteroposterior tricuspid annulus. So basically, you have to puncture the, it is through a transfemoral approach. You have to puncture